Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Eric and I like to read, and today I'm going to be doing the Nope Trope Book Tag. So I was tagged to do this by Danny from Current Chapter, so I'll link her video down in the description below, as well as the original creator, which is Zoe's All Booked Up. I will put her original video down below as well. This tag sounds really interesting, and it's also only 6 questions, so it's like a quick one to get through, which I'm down for. So yeah, we might as well get into it. Also, another thing, Zoe's All Booked Up is Canadian, so that's just another cool thing. I'm just like, yeah, let's support fellow Canadians. Woo! And I'm wearing red, so it just goes with the theme. So the first one is Eavesdropping with Miscommunication. And this is to name a book that you heard great things about and thought that you were going to love, but ended up hating. So the book that I chose, I didn't necessarily end up hating it, but I ended up very disappointed. And that's almost worse than hating the book, because nobody likes to hear that somebody's disappointed in you. Anyways, so the book I chose was Armada by Ernest Cline. I think my original book review of this, I gave it like 5 stars, but the more I think about this book, I was really disappointed with just how it ended. And I don't know, there's a lot of build up in this book, but not a lot of resolution. And it really bugged me. And the more I thought about it, I was just like, wow, that was a very big disappointment, because all that build up got me so excited for something to happen. And then there wasn't much resolution that gave me like good feelings. I didn't feel great after finishing this book. So yeah, that's why I chose this one. If I had to rate it again, I would probably give it a 3 out of 5 instead of 5 out of 5. So it did drop quite a bit, because yeah, just the more I think about it, it wasn't as great as I once thought. But yeah, that's what I would choose for this one. Then we have Love Triangles, and this is to name a series where you can't choose your favorite book. And it was a toss-up on this one. It was either Red Rising, because like I really like Golden Sun, but I think that I'm for sure a stan of just like Red Rising in general. But the other one that I had a hard time choosing, and I still kind of have a hard time choosing, is the Hunger Games series. So I guess, well, not necessarily the OG love triangle, because like I think Twilight was there first, but in this one there is a very big love triangle in this series, and it's a toss up between the first 2 books on which one I like, because the Hunger Games like set the pace for that style of dystopian book, and it was awesome. But Catching Fire was just like, you already had your introduction to all the characters, you already had your introduction to the game style, and it was just a way more intense game. So I really liked Catching Fire, and I'm pretty sure Catching Fire is my favorite movie of the series. But yeah, like I'm still constantly torn between these 2 books and which one I like the most. Because yeah, like it's such a good series, and the one set the pace, but the other one was just really good. Mockingjay's not even in the running. But yeah, so that's what I would choose for this. Next up, we have Not Like Other Girls, or Didn't Know I'm Beautiful. So this is to choose a book that has a really beautiful cover, but you thought was boring as hell. I didn't. I feel bad. Like I didn't necessarily think this was boring as hell, but it didn't live up to the expectations I had for it, and I felt like it was a little too long for what it was. And so, don't hate me guys, that was the Steel Crow Saga, because look at this. Like the cover is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful. And I think the UK version is even cooler. Like it's a really nice book. But overall, it didn't live up to what I was hoping it was going to be. And I do feel like it did drag on a little bit. Mind you, I did find out, I originally thought this was like part of a series, and it was the first book in a series, but then I found out it was a standalone, so that is probably why it was like all crammed in there to be that like bigger one solid book. However, it's kind of like this, I don't know, it's just like there's a lot of world building put into it for only one book. It didn't really make sense to me, and the pacing seemed a little off. Like I think it would make sense if it was going to be a series, but because it's not a series, it just didn't do it for me. Although I'm sure a lot of other people really would like this book. I think it was just like my personal taste. I didn't connect with it. That being said, I still gave it a 3.5 stars. Like it was It was a decent read. It just wasn't one of my top reads. Then we have All Consuming Love, and so this is to name a book that gave you a book hangover. For this one, I'm choosing Golden Sun, in case you didn't notice that it was missing on the shelf. When I finished this book, it took me a while to pick up another book after this because this book was so good. I remember after I finished this, I immediately called my friend Neil. He's the one that got me hooked on this series. I immediately called him and we talked on the phone for like an hour and a half about this book and everything that happened in it and just like what we thought was going to happen in the last book in the series. And our minds were just blown. There were so many things that happened. And even like throughout reading the book, I was texting him along, but like when I had finished it, I just needed to talk it out. I needed to talk to somebody about everything that just happened. And it was just, yeah, I couldn't pick up another book for it for a while. I eventually did get back into reading, obviously, because now I got a booktube channel and I'm talking about books all the time. But this book definitely gave me a book hangover for a while. And yeah, it was that good. Then we have Douchebag Boyfriend, and this is to name a book that took you a while to get into, but you really ended up enjoying it when you did. And so for that, I chose Mermaids Are Real. This is a middle grade book that was sent to my book blog, and I was excited about it because it's a middle grade book about a kid that's like a mermaid, I don't know. Anyway, and it took me a while to like get into it just because I hadn't read middle grade in a while. But once I did start getting into this, I really enjoyed this book. I had a lot of fun with it. It was just like, picture Aquaman as a child, just like discovering the underwater world that he is going to like live in. That's essentially what it was like, I guess, about. It's not about actually like Aquaman, but it was just so cool. It was like this kid discovering like different creatures underwater and different like friends and just basically being a merboy. And it was so fun. The author also went into a really good job of like describing the underwater settings and like the different little like sea villages they had and how they protected them and things like that. I don't know. I thought it was really cool. And it was essentially like them trying to find this thing called the Mystic Prong and protect it from other people that were trying to steal it. It was a fun middle grade book, and if the author wrote more of these books in the series, then I would definitely read them because it was a lot of fun. Then the last question is to say your favorite or least favorite trope. For me, I'm going to choose my least favorite trope, which is just miscommunication. I can't stand when something is so easily solved if the two characters just talk to each other, but they don't, and then everything gets all misunderstood and there's a whole big blowout and it's just a waste of their time. Like, I just don't understand. Just communicate. That's all you have to do. And it really bugs me in books when they don't communicate and all this shit happens and you're just like, seriously? All you had to do was have a conversation with each other and this wouldn't have happened. I don't know. That just really bugs me. Tropes I do like are... I like the school setting, but I also really like the mentor setting where it's like kind of like the chosen one and they're being mentored by somebody that has already been through it and knows what they're doing. Like, I kind of like that. I'm okay with love triangles. Like, I'm really impartial. I think sometimes they add to the story, sometimes they don't. But yeah. And yeah, there's lots of tropes out there, but those are the ones I like and don't like. Anyways, that was the end of the Nope Trope Book Tag. It was very easy. It was a lot of fun. I suppose I should tag some people. So I'm going to tag Scott from Bookish Invasion. And I'm also going to tag Hillary from Melted Books. If you guys have already done this tag, then don't worry. Just link it down below so I can go check it out. And obviously, no pressure to do the tag, only if you want to. I also am going to do a Booktuber Shoutout, which I've been failing to remember to do at the end of my videos. So the shoutout for this video, I'm going to give to Scott from Bookish Invasion. He recently just passed 1,000 subscribers, and he has a lot of great recs for sci-fi reads. He's very into that genre, so if you want to check out Scott, I will leave his link in the description down below. If you guys want to support me, I have a Patreon and a Ko-fi page, which I will put in the description down below. I also will have a link to my bookmarks if you want to purchase one of those. You guys know the drill. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I post videos every Monday and Thursday. And until next time, keep on reading.